Hello, welcome to the Task Manager made with Kotlin and IntelliJ. So to run it, I'm just going to click this here and run the practice Kotlin file. And it's just going to run all days inside my main function. So inside the main function, I also have a class here that has the tasks. So I'll explain a little more about that, but technically the function main is going to hold all the program. So you have a really small menu where you can see current tasks and it says, are you ready for today's challenges? I'll just put a Y. And that's also it validates even if it's an uppercase or lowercase. So what aspect do you want to work on? Social, physical, intellectual, or spiritual? And I'll say physical. And then that's going to show me what are my physical tasks. It says exercise, drink water, stretch muscles. And then it just keeps asking me that question until I say I oh. Now, if I say something that is not part of the options, it's just gonna say, oops, choose again, just so the user knows. So these are the tags for social and so on. Now, I'll run it again here. What happens if I want to add a new task? And let's say that I want to do a social task. My new task is going to be saying hi to five strangers. And then he says, that's a great idea. It has been added to your list. So when we go back to seeing the current tasks, um, here, yes, social, and I can see that that one was added here. So now I'll show a little bit of the code, and mainly that's part of, I guess the biggest achievements I felt from this sprint. So here in the class task, that's where I store all of the tasks from each of the aspects. And here I have a collection that is mapping through all the tasks in every list, and then it shows all of them in a string. So this is loading from a file, a test file, which is here. And the way that it's written down is first it says which aspect it is, and then the goal or the task. Um, and in the code, loading text from file, what it is doing is if the file exists, and I'm sending file name based finding the task test, then for each line of that file, it's going to split it based on the columns. So I can use that makes my function to add new tasks work better. At the beginning, what I was doing is here for new tasks, I was just trying to add it, but because you run the program and that's just like temporary storage, it wasn't actually being saved. So that's the way that the file is helping that. And then it just says if the task is not part of the list, then just add it to that and save it to the file. And then it just closes the program. Here I have a small function that displays the menu with the two options. And this is one of the ways that I use the when keyword, which actually was really useful because I feel like it's really easy to understand, like really intuitive to know. When this answer is one, then do this, and when not, then do that. Something else is that you can use the read line straight inside the when keyword, which usually you have to assign a variable just so you can call it. Um, I also did that up here as well. So for example, I said ready, if you're ready, then it's gonna read line, but you can do either or. And then I have some conditional statements saying if that task is inside the list, then I want you to change the first character of the aspect and then make it uppercase. This was really nice. I haven't done it in any other programming language, but it was really interesting to in Kotlin because technically I can take whatever the task is going to be. So before I had an interesting name. I actually have it over here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So instead of saying like spiritual, I had lowercase and I had a T in the end to like symbolize the task. So if I wanted to change that, I can just use the replace last character and then what I wanted to replace it for. And that's a little bit about the code. Um, I like to keep my comments because then I can see like how I'm changing the code. So before I was just using when everything and iterating through all of the tasks, but right now I'm doing the same here. Just if the task is in the list or the file, then it's going to print each task with a dash on front. And that's a little bit about my program.